In this lecture, we will study the energy metabolism and nutrition. Energy metabolism is basically the study of how the body uses, stores, and burns the energy. The food which we take in diet is combusted in the body and it produces heat, which is required for the cellular work as well as work of the tissues. The food which we take in diet is composed of carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. Definitely, we know that carbohydrates are more readily form of energy, while fats are most abundant stored form of energy. Energy balance is there when the energy input is equal to output. That is to say, calories which we take in diet is equal to the calories which we utilized, and these calories which we utilized are basically used for the digestion of the food, for the metabolic activities, for transport of the nutrients, and daily physical activity. Maintenance of energy balance is essential for health and well-being, and it is also essential because it prevents the individual from the development of certain health problems. Energy is called in balance, or the person is called in energy balance when input of the energy is equal to output and there is no change in the weight. The energy is called positive energy. Person is called in positive energy balance when input of the energy is more than the output, and that increase in the input of energy is stored in the form of energy in the body. Means the more energy which we take in diet is stored in the body, and that results in increase in the weight. While and this positive energy balance, it is observed in pregnancy, in the infants during their, and in the children during their growing age. While person is called as in negative energy balance when input is less than the output. So it can result in decrease in the weight, and basically the stored energy in the body is utilized to maintain the body status. So there are certain questions regarding the energy balance, that how much energy is contained in particular meal or in different types of foods. How can the energy in foods can be measured? How can energy expanded by an individual be measured? That is to say, how would we measure energy input and output? The questions of answer of all these questions can be easily understood by studying the calorimetry. So what is calorimetry? Calorimetry is basically a technique to measure the metabolic activity or the energy released during the metabolic activity. Calorimetry is of two types. It is a direct calorimetry and indirect calorimetry. In case of direct calorimetry, we measure the caloric utilization by directly measuring the heat production of the body, while in case of indirect calorimetry, we measure the oxygen consumption and carbon dioxide production, and by putting these values in the specific formula, we would have an estimation regarding the calorimetry. So we must have a concept about the calorie. Usually we measure the calorie in kilocalorie. In the routine study, we measure the calorie in the value of kilocalorie. And what is kilocalorie? It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the 1 kilogram of water through 1 degree centigrade. That is to say, from 15 degrees centigrade to 16 degrees centigrade. So what is kilocalorie? 1 kilocalorie is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the 1 kilogram of water through 1 degree centigrade. That is to say, from 15 degrees centigrade to 16 degrees centigrade. So it is important because when the water has temperature 9 degrees centigrade or 10 degrees centigrade, and we raise the temperature of water from 9 to 10 degrees centigrade, more heat is required. So it is not the measurement of kilocalories. First we maintain the temperature of water at 15 degrees centigrade, then we raise its temperature from 15 to 16 degrees centigrade. So the heat required to raise the temperature from 15 to 16 degrees centigrade, or more specifically from 15.5 to 16.5 degrees centigrade, is basically the measurement of 1 kilocalorie. So basically in nutrition we measure this unit, and it is represented by capital C, and 1 kilocalorie is equal to 4.184 kilojoules. This is a bomb calorimetry. This equipment is used to measure the a caloric value of the food. So this is called bomb calorimeter because its walls are made up of thick steel material, and it can stand easily at high temperatures, so that's why it is called bomb. The food is placed into it in a closed container. That container has water channels around it to which thermometer is connected, and it is supplied by enough air in it which contains oxygen. Wires, they are ignited, and it is connected with the food. So combustion of the food will produce the heat, which is the value of that heat is directly measured by the thermometer. That heat is absorbed by the water which is circulating around the channel. Thermometer is inserted into the water channel, so it will give the concept about the heat which is produced by the combustion of that food, and it will give an idea about the caloric value of that specific food. So glucose means carbohydrates, lipids or fats and proteins, they have different caloric value, and that caloric value can be measured by the combustion of these specific dietary elements. Combustion, it releases carbon dioxide and water and heat content. So 1 gram of lipids, when they are combusted, it will produce 9.4 kilocalories, and 1 gram of glucose, when it is combusted, it will produce 4.2 kilocalories, and 1 gram of proteins, when they are combusted externally in the external environment in vitro, it will produce 5.6 kilocalories. So it means that carbohydrates, when they are combusted in the body or utilized in the body, so 1 gram of carbohydrate, it will release 4 kilocalories, while in the external environment, in the bomb calorimetry meter or in vitro, 1 gram of carbohydrate, it will produce 4.1 kilocalories, while 1 gram of fats, when they are combusted in the body, roughly it will give 9 kilocalories per gram, and in vitro environment it will produce 9.4 kilocalories per gram. So means that values are nearly equal to each other, while proteins, they have different value. 1 gram of proteins, when they are combusted in the body, it will produce 4 kilocalories, while 1 gram of proteins, when they are combusted in the external environment or in the calorimeter, it will produce 5.6 kilocalories per gram. So this difference is due to the energy content of the urea, because the end product of the protein metabolism in our body is urea, which cannot be further metabolized by the body, while in the external environment, in the calorimeter, the urea is also combusted to give the energy. So that's why there is difference in the value of proteins inside the body as well as in vitro environment. While alcohol, when it is combusted in the body or in the calorimeter, it has the same value 7. Fiber has no caloric value. So there is a short question that there is a person, Mr. Ramzan, a supposed name, he uses 585 grams of carbohydrates per day, 150 grams of proteins per day, and 110 grams of fat per day. So how many calories a day he is consuming? So we will multiply all these three values of carbohydrates, proteins and fats with the per gram production of the heat by the combustion of these three dietary elements. So this will give a concept regarding the total caloric utilization of this person. So this is an instrument, we can say instrument, or the procedure which shows how can we measure the direct heat content or direct caloric measurement required by the person. So in this case uh, we have to provide a closed chamber where the person will do exercise or will do the heat utilization of the energy. So this chamber, it has the water channels which into which the thermometer is inserted, which measure the heat content of that closed chamber. The oxygen is provided to the chamber, and exhaled carbon dioxide is measured by the device or the instrument which measure the amount of the carbon dioxide produced by the person. So this direct measurement of the heat produced by the person through the thermometers inserted into the water channels around it will give the concept of the heat evolved when the person is doing exercise or when he utilizes his energy. So this type of measurement of the heat content or the caloric value or the caloric requirement is a complex and a little bit difficult, while indirect calorimetry is a comparatively easier way to measure the caloric requirement. So what we will do in this case, we will measure the volume of the carbon dioxide produced and volume of the oxygen consumed. So by measuring the ratio of volume of carbon dioxide produced to oxygen consumed will give us a concept of respiratory quotient. So what is respiratory quotient? Basically, respiratory quotient, it is a ratio of volume of carbon dioxide produced to oxygen consumed by a person, by which we can measure the caloric requirement of the person or the energy consumed by the person. So different food contents have different value of the respiratory quotient. Respiratory quotient for carbohydrates, it is 1. Respiratory quotient for the palmitic acid, it is 0.7. So the respiratory quotient of carbohydrates, it is more as compared to the fats or proteins or mixed type of foods. And a respiratory quotient for the person when he is gaining all of its energy from the carbohydrate derived diet, from fats containing diet, that is to say in starvation or diabetes, we will say that the person has more respiratory quotient as compared to that who is deriving his energy from the carbohydrate containing diet. Thank you.